Hey everyone, to start off, I want to share a few facts about binge eating. According to a national survey, it's estimated that 2.8 million people in the US suffer from BED, or binge eating disorder. This often begins in late teens or in the early 20s. The number of people with BED is 3 times the number of those diagnosed with anorexia and bulimia combined. Too many of us, myself included, have let food take control of our lives instead of the other way around. It's no wonder then that the number of obese Americans has more than doubled since 1980, with roughly 2 out of 3 US adults being either overweight or obese. So in today's video, I will be sharing some of the common symptoms of binge eating, how it differs from occasional overeating, and also share with you some of the strategies I implemented to break the binge cycle, resulting in a happier and healthier life. Let's talk about binging versus overeating. Overeating applies to most, if not all of us, and happens from time to time. An example is Thanksgiving dinner, where you eat a ton more than you normally would. But I do want to note here that overeating and binging falls on a range. Some of us may be moving towards the binge side of things, while others may be moving away from it. Now let's talk about binge eating. This type of eating or behavior happens on a much deeper level, and a key word here is that it happens frequently. Usually there are feelings involved of not being in control and eating large portions even when full. Binge eating is also followed by intense feelings of guilt and shame. You may feel that you want to hide this habit or go and eat in private. This can be a very deep and emotional cycle that is difficult to break. Real quick, here's some other symptoms I found online from Mayo Clinic. It is common to follow these large eating sessions with intense restriction periods, which is so difficult to maintain. And as a result, binge eating happens again. So it becomes this cycle of eating too much and restricting too much. But don't worry, there is hope. For many years, I kept gaining weight until I reached 270 pounds and was obese. The stresses of life combined with a lack of physical activity led to very bad eating habits. I was quickly losing control and would frequently eat these enormous portions of junk food to help me feel better in the moment and worry less about things. But of course, this type of solution is always one word: temporary. I knew there had to be a better solution. Slowly, I learned the importance of taking care of mental health and practicing self-care, which is directly tied to our ability to take action towards a healthier and more fulfilled life. I am excited to share with you now 4 crucial strategies I used on my journey to overcome binge eating. Although you may not feel fully in control at this moment, do not fret. There are certain things you can do to make things easier. First is to prepare your surroundings. When cravings hit, because they will, it's important to reduce the temptations in your environment. Maybe even consider only taking cash with you when you go on outings. There are many times on my commute to and from work, or even during lunch breaks, where my sweet tooth would kick in, but having a limited amount of cash on me helped me stay in my budget and reduce the urge to spend that money. When it comes to the home, it's important to stock up on healthy and delicious snacks. This may be difficult at first, or you may have some excuses going through your mind, but trust me, there are so many healthy and yummy foods out there. The key here is to make sure it's easily accessible. One example that comes to my mind is just when sitting on the couch, I want a snack that's just easy to grab. So I try to have healthy snacks in close proximity, such as fruit, mixed nuts, just whatever you like. For liquids, not gonna lie here, the best thing for me was water. Having a full water bottle ready at all times just makes it so much easier to get the liquids you need. So don't worry about what's gonna happen in the future. First, try to optimize your environment to reduce those temptations. The second strategy I use is to control your schedule instead of having it control you. Now, when doing this for yourself and starting your own routine, please start small. Find just one small, productive action you can take each day, then slowly work your way up from there. A couple examples include when you first wake up in the morning to either go on a walk or do a 5-minute workout. If that feels like too big of a step, then start even smaller. Something that really helped me back when I was obese and trying to change was when first waking up, I would just wash my face. It sounds pretty simple, but once you get into that routine, it helps you feel more in control. So find something that works for you that is very small. Also, I keep talking about the morning, but it absolutely doesn't have to be just exclusively in the morning. In addition to starting small and building up this routine of yours, it is essential to implement some FYT. This acronym means for you time. It is crucial to have these types of things in your life on a daily basis to help improve your mental health. This could look like getting some more sleep in each day, exercising, or doing some meditation. Just have some for you time. On to strategy number 3. Act instead of react to cravings. Here is a process I made to implement this. First, when a craving hits, simply stop. Stop what you're doing. Do not react immediately to the craving. You may just look like this. You're stopped. You're paused in that moment, but that's okay because you are showing self-control in that moment. Second, ask yourself, are you hungry or are you thirsty? Many times along my weight loss journey with its ups and downs, I just felt like I needed to eat something. But then after stopping step number 1 and asking myself, am I really hungry or thirsty? Many times I realized I'm actually pretty darn thirsty. So I would go and drink a good amount of water and feel full, feel amazing actually. And third, once you've determined whether you're hungry or thirsty, go grab that healthy snack or drink, which goes back to the other strategy of preparing your surroundings with lots of healthy options that are easily accessible to you. Foundationally, this process is very simple, and at the beginning, I couldn't get to step 2 or step 3 at times. So just start where you're at. When you can just stop and realize when you're having a temptation or craving and not immediately react to it, that's an amazing first step. I highly recommend keeping a journal or some way to track your progress. Now, if you find yourself in a social setting where a large temptation or craving hits, there are a couple things you can do. Of course, try to focus on finding some healthy alternatives, but if you're still struggling, you can. First, limit how many unhealthy snacks you eat while out. Or second, just limit the amount of times you eat out. Either way, you still get to eat unhealthy once in a while, and that's okay. I've learned the importance of moderation in all things and changing my relationship with food, which leads into the last strategy. Upgrade your relationship with food. Try to avoid extreme diets, fast, or workout programs. Starting where you're at is key here. So something that really accelerated my fat loss later down the road was intermittent fasting. At first, it was quite difficult for me to implement, but later I found the importance of being flexible. If interested, I have another video on this channel sharing all about intermittent fasting and how I made it work for me. So back to our relationship with food. Something I found quite useful for me is to think of all food as friends. The most whole, healthy, and nutritious foods should be viewed as your best friends, because in the long run, your best friends are always there for you and build you up. And those friends that may be outside of your inner circle of best friends are still important, but you just wouldn't spend as much time with them. What I'm really trying to say is that we shouldn't restrict any foods entirely. For me, doing this led to more feelings of worry and anxiety. I personally am a huge ice cream fan, and it's a relief to me, honestly, that I don't have to fully restrict it or cut it out of my life. So whether it's in a journal or on a piece of paper, I highly recommend writing down your food priorities, which foods are your best friends, and so on. Don't forget to include liquids in there as well. Something I've tried recently that I just love is hot lemon honey water. It tastes delicious and is so refreshing. A couple of other tips that I won't go into depth today include utilizing a support group or consulting a professional. Regardless of whichever strategies you use or not, I wish you the absolute best. Remember to start where you're at and that it is a process. The past does not determine the action you can take today, no matter how small. The small acts you take today, however, do count. Okay, until next video, I'll catch you next time.